Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Chris with InsideTheU back here again for another fall camp preview video. In this video, obviously, I want to talk about the freshmen. 5 guys that I'm excited about watching in fall camp. Definitely drop in the comments below. Let me know who you're most excited about. But let's get right into it with my first guy in no particular order. But I definitely want to talk about quarterback Jacory Brown. He was here in the spring, and that's where these video clips are from. But I thought he did a good job integrating himself into it. But what stood out to me the most with what he had to say in an interview session with reporters when he was talking to us, he said that he knows he's got a lot of work to do. And basically, he knows that this isn't his team this upcoming season. Everyone stays healthy. Tyler Van Dyke will be the guy once again. And Jacory knows that. He knows coming into it, the biggest thing for him is his development, continue to work, continue to learn, and also just understand what it takes to go through a season. I think fall camp is going to be very interesting for him. The reason why I'm really excited about having to see him again is taking everything that he learned and went through in the spring. How did he kind of progress from the summer, and what will he be like in the fall? The clips that you're watching right now, I took these on the very first day of him being out there, and certainly I think he progressed throughout the spring. You could see he was getting a little bit more comfortable throwing the ball. He got some work in the spring game as well, but I think he just did a good job of just continuing to progress, understand what it takes to get to this level. And I was hearing that he's done really good on some testing throughout the summer, in particular with his speed. I'm sure you'll hear more about that in fall camp once that gets out there. But I thought it was good that he's just kind of continuing to work, continuing to grow. And I think what you saw from him, what I saw from him in the spring, he was a guy that did have some arm talent, either on the move or just throwing downfield to receivers. I think it's pretty evident why he was considered a 4-star recruit out of Georgia, a top 20 guy at his position. But I think fall camp's going to be good for him just to kind of see the progression, but also if he can challenge for that backup spot, and obviously whenever he gets his opportunity during the season, he definitely needs to be ready, and it starts in fall camp. There have been other quarterbacks that weren't essentially ready for the moment, and I think the biggest thing for Jacory is he's got to understand that this isn't his team, but definitely be ready when his number is called. I think fall camp is going to be good for him. However many reps he gets with those top units, it's definitely harder for a guy like that. The next guy I want to talk about is linebacker Wesley Bissainthe, another guy who was here in spring ball. And the reason why I'm really excited to see him is obviously he went through some injury stuff. He got in that car accident in the offseason, but it sounds like he's doing well. He's ready to go. And I think the linebacker spot has a lot of question marks. There's no doubt about that. But a guy like Wesley was a highly regarded guy out of Miami Central. I really like his sideline to sideline speed. I also like that he was very productive on a very good team, but he was a guy that racked up a bunch of tackles. So now, once again, but this is going to be different in terms of Jacory. Wesley's got an opportunity to either play or, really rise himself into that starting mix. Can he earn a starting spot? I think what we saw in the spring, there were flashes, but I think you've got to see more out of him. I don't know if we're going to see everything that we need to in fall camp for him to get that spot, but I think he's definitely got to come in with a lot more confidence from having that experience in the spring and just go through that once again in fall camp. But he's got good speed. Like I said, he's got the production thing. And as you're seeing, he's kind of, he's getting to know what it takes in terms of some technique stuff at this level. Charlie Strong is a guy that's been around quite a bit. But I think whether Wesley starts or not, I think just having a good fall camp to put himself in that position where if something happens during the season, he can get right in there. Or just a guy, if he's going to be on that number 2 line in that backup role or on special teams or both, he just has to have a good fall camp, because I think that they want to trust him and give him as many opportunities as possible. The third guy I'm mentioning here is running back TreVonte Citizen. He was not here in the spring. These clips are from a summer camp when he was at UM, just having a good time. And TreVonte's a guy that was a top 10 guy at his position at running back. Tyler Van Dyke spoke highly about TreVonte, what he's seen from him in the summer. Thinks he's got an opportunity to play early. And I find that to be very, fans should be excited about that, because Miami returns 4 running backs, from the spring and whatnot. So TreVonte's got an opportunity to play. maybe, but definitely special teams, whatever it might be. You just want a guy like him to show what he's got, whether he gets the opportunity in games or not. You want to see it in fall camp. he's going to be the most exciting guy that I'll be, looking forward to seeing, because I've not seen him at yet. From the spring, we saw a lot of guys that enrolled early, and TreVonte is a guy that didn't get a chance to see. So I think you'll see it right away in terms of his ability, also durability. That's been something that other running backs have had an issue with. So you want to see TreVonte out there as much as possible, and also you want to see that speed and kind of game-changing ability. And I think certainly if he has a good fall camp, I think they'll get him in there as much as possible, especially early on in the season with some of the opponents. But, TreVonte is a guy that's coming in highly regarded out of Louisiana. We'll see how he does, but certainly a lot of excitement, as there should be. The fourth guy, going back to a guy that I saw in the spring, Jaleel Skinner. A little bit in the situation, obviously a lot different in terms of the quarterback, but there's a couple guys ahead of him right now. So Will Mallory's coming back for his senior year. Also, Elijah Arroyo, everybody's excited about him with what he did in his first year. But Jaleel Skinner, highly regarded guy, I think if he can have a good fall camp, he could find himself in a role if he can kind of elevate into that number three spot. Also, I think the one thing I'll be looking forward to with Jaleel, he's a guy with his size and speed and his athletic ability that they might be able to move out a little bit into a wide receiver type of a spot. So if they start moving him around in fall camp, maybe he can have a role in either in red zone or just being that big target. Miami does not have a lot of those guys at wide receiver. So if Jaleel can show that he's got some speed, understands the offense, can be trustworthy in terms of what the coaches want from him, I think he's a guy that maybe they can move around a little bit. Once again, a guy that's playing behind some guys, but certainly I'm very intrigued once again. And same thing with Jacory and Wesley is, what kind of progress did he make in the offseason in the summer? You're seeing him go through some blocking drills right here. And that's what stands out to me in terms of a tight end. Certainly he's got to have the athletic ability, the ability to catch passes, but if he's going to be in there, he's going to have to be able to block, and that will be a priority. It's a point of emphasis for all Miami tight ends. Nothing's changed there. He's going to have to show that he can block, and obviously Coach Field working with him wants him to get in there because he has a lot of ability. Just really looking forward to seeing his progress, as he gets into fall camp. But he's a guy that, regardless of his role, he's a guy I think that can make plays. I like what he brings to the table. I think he has the maturity to kind of handle his role and also continue to progress. And that's what you want out of all these freshmen. But certainly there's a lot of freshmen that I'm not naming, but there's a lot of guys you're probably thinking, where is this guy? Why is he not on the list yet? That's why I want you to drop in the comments. But I think Jaleel Skinner is a guy that, whether his role is big this year, I think next year is the year that he can definitely break out with Elijah coming back and Will moving on after his final season. But I think it's good, it'd be important for him to have a good fall camp. And then the last guy is Nygel Kelly. Did not see him in the spring. He was dealing with an injury, but he was here. He was working out at times. These clips right here, number 90, you can see in the video here. But he's a guy, he's my fifth guy, the fifth freshman. I'm excited to see what he brings to the table. Highly regarded guy that Miami is excited about. Cyrus Moss, another guy that I didn't mention, was here in the spring, and that's why I had Nygel here, is because I didn't get a chance to see him. So I'm curious to see what he has to do. Different player than Cyrus, a little bit bigger, but I think there should be a lot of excitement. I think Miami's bringing in, because they're bringing in a lot of transfers, experienced guys on the defensive line. I'm not sure if Nygel can really crack that too deep rotation. However, if he has a good fall camp, there's no doubt that they're going to put him in there because they are looking for playmakers on the defensive line. And you've heard Coach Cristobal mention it a ton of times. They want size and speed at that position all along the offense and defensive line. They definitely want size, and Nygel has that. So definitely keep your eye on Nygel. That's going to wrap up my list of the top 5 freshmen to watch in fall camp. Starts August 5th. Definitely stay tuned, but definitely drop in the comments what guys did I leave out that you're excited about. I love reading your comments. Definitely thank you for watching. Hopefully you have a good rest of the day, and take care.